Oh, there's Dave. Welcome all to
Yo,
Bullshit
yo.
and Bourbon.
What's up? What's
I'm
up?
Mike. This is Taylor up in the top right, and we have Dave back, but he has moved from the cabin in the woods to the island of the Dominican Republic.
Yo, yo.
So, welcome.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you
Thank
guys
you.
showing up to talk
Pick up, man.
about. We can see if we can crack this code. What's going on with these UFOs or drones, or if they're aliens, or the government, or the Illuminati, or interdimensional beings, or biblical freaking angels, or whatever they are.
Uh, I say it's some government, man. I think it's U.S. I watched a bunch of news today, and I think it's something to do with the U.S. It's some kind of experimental program because, first of all, if it was China or Russia, dude, we'd be in there shooting these things down instantly. The U.S. government has done nothing about the drones. Nothing.
Well,
Zero.
they didn't do anything to the balloons that were floating over the U.S. for freaking forever.
There you go.
Chinese spy balloons flying over us, and they didn't shoot those down.
Well, but do we know if they're
Well,
Chinese?
here let's kick this off real quick with a little bit of humor. Here we go. Well, I'll share this one. Present. So that's everybody on the East Coast right now, driving around all coked out, watching all the drones and the UFOs flying
The
around.
drone videos. Nice. What are you drinking,
So
Mike?
yeah,
I'm bullshit and bourbon today.
what's that?
What are you drinking tonight?
Actually, Gentleman Jack is what I'm drinking tonight.
Nice, nice. I didn't have any bourbon, but we got some Stoli blueberry vodka. With
There you go. It's a cocktail. You're in the tropics. You can get
yeah,
away with that.
bourbon's rough, man. So this young lady I met down here had us drink some bourbon last night, and I was done all day. So
Yeah. You need to stay away from that hard stuff, man. It does not do well with you.
no, it does not. No,
So
it's not.
so yeah. No, it's let's start off with what everybody's been up to this week. Taylor, what have you been up to this week? I know you got back from the Philippines last week.
Yes, I just got back from the Philippines, and then dealing with all the crap that you have to deal with when you're a lawyer and you go on vacation. Everything just piles up, and now I have to deal with all the crap, and so I'm getting all that back together, and then having an interesting week with all the drone stuff that's going on. All the stuff that they said was going to happen happened, so we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into your guy that you found that's been nailing the conspiracy theories. What have you been up to this week, Dave?
Well, I left your cabin. It
Yep.
finally snowed, which was good. I got to see some snow before I left.
Yeah.
And then, about 30 hours of traveling, I made it back to the DR, man, to my new house. So super excited. Got moved in here and just working on the charter companies and just chilling, man. It's nice to be
Yeah.
in
House is
weather.
looking good, man. Have you tried out the cold plunge hot tub up on the roof?
No, but I found out it's not a hot tub. There's no
Oh, it's
heat.
not.
There's no heating element at all. It's just a cold tub that
Well,
shoots bubbles.
what was up with the gas line then?
It's not hooked up, so it has the ability, but it's not
Oh, okay. All right.
set up for hot tubbing.
I don't know if I'd want a hot tub down there, man.
It's hot already, so you
Yeah.
really don't know. So it's a cold bubble tub, which is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, but I got Starlink hooked up yesterday, so I was able to join you guys, which is cool.
Perfect.
Dude,
Well, me and Taylor are gonna need it.
Bald head.
Oh yeah.
Signing to Elon. Thank you for Starlink. It's amazing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Me and Taylor, we're gonna need that Starlink when we come down there and visit.
Yeah, man. We got it set up and ready to go, man. Can't wait for you guys to come.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm thinking probably like February is kind of what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. We got a music event going on end of January here, so I got about 10 people coming to stay at the house end of January. So
I'll come
Feb,
after that.
yeah, we know your vibes.
Yes, yes. I'm not a people person. Well, that's
But
cool, man. Yeah, that's you
yeah,
got it all
dude,
set up.
yeah,
Had it looks like you sent me a couple pictures. You had a nice day by the pool, by the ocean. Had a
yeah,
couple cocktails.
beautiful, man. Infinity pool, only a couple people there. Very
Yeah,
private, very beautiful. It's amazing here. So,
nice.
I came here a month and a half ago for a meeting, and now I live here. So,
Decided to stay.
definitely, yeah, I'm very very happy I did.
Nice. Well, I mean, pretty much all I've been doing is my usual. I just work out and mess with crypto all day. So and chopping wood and kind of getting the cabin ready for January, February when it gets down to like 20 below, 30 below. So other than that, yeah, not doing a whole lot.
Nice, nice.
But
How are your bags looking?
what's that?
How are your bags looking? Are they still growing?
They're looking good. I mean, it's bouncing around the same area. As usual, it dipped down over the weekend and then pop back up now. Everybody over in Asia is waking up on Monday morning, so everybody's dumping their liquidity back into the market. And when Europe wakes up, they'll do the same, and when the U.S. wakes up on Monday, they'll do the same. So yeah, I'm guessing that it's just either this week or next week. I'm feeling like there's a good pump on the horizon.
Nice. How do you think the UFOs are going to affect the crypto market?
We're going to get into that. Me and Taylor were actually on the phone today talking about that, and just you know what? We'll save it. We'll save it.
All right, cool.
Remember that, Taylor, because I want to get into that.
I got to tell the story. I got to tell what this guy.
You know what?
Prophesied.
Fuck it. Let's just jump straight into it. Taylor, take it away.
All right. So back in like September, October, I came across this guy. His name's Cliff High, and he
Cool name.
claimed that that Joe Rogan or Trump was going to go on Joe Rogan, and that would solidify him becoming president of the United States. And he claims that he has this computer algorithm that he can determine future events from. Okay.
Is he rich?
And then this guy is out there. And then he claimed that 39 days after Joe Rogan goes on Trump, there would be basically not a conflict. He doesn't. That's what everybody writes and says. He says that there was going to be a conflict, more like a melee of UFOs in the sky all over the United States, all over the world, actually. And to the T, he hits it. One, at the time when he said this, I thought it was crazy because Joe Rogan was saying he would never have Trump on his podcast.
All right, hold on. I found it. Here we go. Here we go. Let me put it up. Let's see. Yep, here it is. All right.
Between the temporal marker and the visible contention that will appear in the skies that from the descriptors we had back in 2009 will go to the idea of UFO versus UFO and UFO versus jets. Okay, so like sort of very complex kind of Independence Day kind of shit, right? Nobody will know who the hell is doing what with whom. Now, okay, so you think that's unlikely and so on, as do I. All this shit's always unlikely until it happens. Possible, not probable, right? So anyway, now we have a strange thing where there's swarms of 20-foot drones on military bases. Who knows who owns these drones? Who's controlling them? At least they're not telling us guys. I would suspect that the military would be freaking out if they can't see the signals that are directing those drones, and those drones are what is it? A kvass weapon, where one of the I won't describe it, but basically you set off a group of drones that don't report back to headquarters until they're all done.
All right. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, well, I don't know when that one. I don't know if that's like a newer one that he was doing, or if that was the one that was done months and months ago. When did he post that one?
That one looks like it was posted 7 hours ago.
Or is that when it was reposted?
It could have been when it was reposted, but if he's telling the future, it doesn't
Yes,
change.
but
It doesn't change.
But that's the thing is that's basically what that guy was saying back in October. So how in the world does a man like that pull that off?
It's maybe he's Nostradamus. I don't know, but actually, you know what? Hold on. It's getting really hard to figure out what's real and what's fake with AI and just the stuff the average person can do now. But this is out of all the videos I found, this by far was the crazy.
Oh, that's an old one.
Look at that thing.
Man, you don't see anything, man. There's tons better stuff than that right now.
Well, hold
Barely
on.
over a month.
That's it's not a very good shot, but I mean, obviously, that's not an airplane, and it just shot past
Between the
there.
temporal marker.
And then you got this one. They're flying at like 35,000 feet, and here comes this thing.
Yeah, that's a sphere.
Maybe a balloon or something.
No, those are spheres. Those are produced. Those are made by UFOs or released by them. You got to go to Patrick Johnson. He has a whole book about what those are.
Well, here's another spin.
Those are completely different. Those are the orbs.
Yes. Well, we got this is the so we got aliens. That's one possibility. I'm going to frame the conversation. So it could be our own government. It could be a foreign government. So something from Earth. It could be aliens, which extraterrestrial, and then you have where it could be like biblical. Where you're talking about the Ophianim. I don't know how you say it, but I think it was the book of Ezekiel. You would know, Taylor.
Yeah, he talks about the spinning wheel and the orbs and different things. And in the book UFO of the Gods, he explains all this, and what's his name, Bigelow, the guy that had one of these. These are actually supposedly these are actual beings that exist up in our upper atmosphere, and when they come down and they visit you, they can actually form into a being, like what you would call an angel.
Well, I actually was watching Joe Rogan, and him and another guy was talking about these things, and he was talking about like the eyeballs on the wings and how similar it is to a DMT trip. Like when people take DMT, I guess it's a very common thing to be, for people to see. So anyway,
here let me give a rundown of this world, because most people are unfamiliar with the craziness of this world. First of all, what I'm going to talk about, I don't know what is true, what is not true, but I'm going to give you the basic understanding of how crazy this world of UFO interdimensional beings really is. And this
I'm going to freshen my drink real quick. You take it.
Okay. So first off, you got to understand there are many different things that people talk about. And so it gets super confusing because all of a sudden people start seeing things and then they go, well, this is the government. This is what's going on here. Well, there are layers. The first layer is there's the United States government. Okay. So you have the United States government that may have technology that can pull off some of this stuff. Number two, now this is where it gets batshit crazy. This is like where you got if you've ever watched Alex Jones.
Yep.
Okay, when he talks about reptilians, tall grays.
Yeah.
Turning the frogs gay.
Yeah. The beings that live underneath the earth.
Mhm.
They're okay. So there's that group. People commonly will refer this to as the deep state. The deep state is the group that is connected with them, that has secret alliances with these groups. They also have UFOs that fly around in the sky. That's that whole world. That when you see like a UFO that you traditionally think about, or those spheres, those round spheres, that's their technology. And allegedly, like, once again, I have no idea. I'm not an expert on this. I just read a bunch of books on it. So I'm just conveying to people what I read. I don't know what is true about this and what's not true. But they live underneath the ground. There's a secret society of them. And they basically keep humans under control through our governments. Then you have what are called plasmoids. Plasmoids, they exist up in our upper atmosphere. That ball that you saw looks like a plasmoid kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That would be one of them. There's actually a research paper that they put out, NASA did, saying that they actually do exist. Those definitely would that would be a plasmoid. UFO of the Gods, Bigelow, who wrote that book, claims that those can come down and morph into like humanoids. Like they can change. They're actually intelligent beings.
Shifters.
I don't know if it's true. I've never personally met one, so I can't say that that's necessarily true, but it's a fascinating story, because that's usually what people would talk about as angels in the Bible. Like in the Bible, referring to angels, it would be those things. Then there's a whole other group of actual aliens. There's apparently some galactic group that there are beings who live on other planets that interact with this world. They don't really interfere in our business, allegedly. But they're here. They're there. They'll appear allegedly around. And then you have a whole different group of interdimensional beings. You can interact with these beings at any time you want. You can, if you want to do DMT or shrooms. I personally have had experiences with them, but you can go and communicate with them. Like I personally have. I know those ones actually do. Well, I shouldn't say actually do exist, because it could all just be in my mind that they're happening. But
One thing about that, though, I'll say real quick, is it's interesting that a very wide range of people and a large percentage see the same types of things on DMT and mushrooms. And it's not like they're at the same place at the same time doing it, with each other. I mean, you could be across the globe, I mean, different situations and circumstances, and they still report seeing the same things. I find that odd.
Yeah, it's really odd when you have an experience. You'll go see something, you'll see you'll talk to it, and then you'll go online and you'll read the exact same story from somebody else. I've had that experience before. So it's like, how did I have an experience exactly like that person had, and we never even have met each other or know anything about each other?
Yeah, because from a scientific standpoint, like control study, it's basically it's not like you're together and you're influencing what each other's seeing. It's not like the three of us are shrooming, and Taylor, you're like, I'm seeing an angel with eyeballs on its wings right now, and so me and Dave are like, oh, we see it too. It's nothing like that.
Yeah, and on my mission, I did have an experience with 3 other guys where we did see a portal and beings exit that portal and possess one of my companions. And so,
is that when you had like malaria or whatever?
No, it was an actual experience that we had. I wrote about it in my book, but basically my companion got possessed, but it was a weird night. I don't know how it relates to everything, all this stuff, but all I know is allegedly from all these people, there has been this talk for a long time that there would be this event, which is called catastrophic disclosure, which was our government was put on a mandate for the last bit to disclose to the public that there's things that it's far more complicated than we think it is. And a lot of it's been hidden from the population. And basically, this is the moment where we are going to be disclosed to that things are far more complicated than you think.
Are we alone?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'm just queuing it up.
Yeah. So, I'm not the person to tell people how everything is. I don't know, but it's pretty clear now. I mean, you have to really bury your head in the sand right now to not realize that it is not just our government. Our government does not have the technology to defy physics.
Well, and that's something we talked about earlier, Taylor, was, there's the Navy has come out. Well, the government on multiple occasions. And I find it odd that, as big of a deal as, aliens has been throughout, history, human history, our government came out during COVID and was like, there are vehicles, and UFOs, unexplained phenomenon that are extraterrestrial. And people, I mean, it was like a blip on the radar in the news and then just went away. They released a bunch of Navy, U.S. Navy footage of fighter pilots tracking the Tic Tacs, and they're, going into the ocean and shooting up out of the ocean and, moving at speeds that, if there was a human pilot inside, he'd be, turned to a bag of jelly because of the G-forces. So there's some weird stuff going on. I mean, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Yeah. the bigger thing is like, it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people to accept what's going to happen over the next, especially 6 months. It's going to really turn people's whole worldview upside down. I mean, I remember, like, I thought all this was crazy before I watched David Grush's hearings.
Hey, Dave, real quick, on your chat, you need to select all whenever you're typing, it's just going to Rumble.
Over here, all it is all. It says private all. Yeah.
So, but like, of course, there's Project Bluebeam that everybody
What is that for people that don't know? What is Project Bluebeam?
So there is a project that the U.S. government was going to fake an alien invasion with its technology that it had in order to usher in a world government, to kind of be over everything. And people believe that this is the beginning of Project Bluebeam, which it might be. That might be kind of one of the things that the government is trying to pull off here over the next 6 months, is some kind of creating a world government kind of a thing. But I think enough people know about Project Bluebeam that it would be a massive failure if they attempted it. They'd have to know that.
Yeah, I know all about it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, what do you know, Dave?
Well, I mean, Project Bluebeam is.
Oh, they shut him off.
Yeah, the government took Dave out. The government took Dave out. Everybody hide.
That's when you know you're about to reveal truth, is you get shut off like that.
Yes.
They keep letting us go
because the government just took Dave out. He got hit with Project Bluebeam.
That was probably the best timed ever. But let's go into, okay, so you guys, this Cliff High literally predicted to the T exactly what's going to happen. Well, if you're sitting here watching this, the question is, does he have more predictions, and can I make money off of them? Like, really, if you're sitting there, it's like, if you run into a guy that apparently has the ability to see the future, and you're not,
and I know that.
Oh, go ahead. You want to go?
Oh no, like I said, I was just queuing it up. But yeah, here, let's play this real quick, because this is a Navy officer, Navy intelligence officer, or sorry, Air Force intelligence officer that was on Joe Rogan, And reportedly, I mean, he's actually I want to say he testified before Congress,
Yeah, this
and
is the guy that totally switched me, David Grush.
yeah, and basically, it's I keep thinking you're saying David Koresh, that cult leader dude.
No.
But yeah, here I'll just play it real quick.
With 100% certainty, which as an intel officer, you never say 100%, but all things pointed towards, based on the people I talked to, like Harry Reid, and I use him as an example, but I talked to
Senator Harry
the
Reid.
highest of the high people you could possibly talk to, if you catch my drift. So unless all of them are lying and they're covering up something else, which I don't even know what it would be at this point, because the phenomenon is real. It's been going on for thousands of years. People have been seeing strange things, and not everybody's mass hallucinating. Are we alone? Well, the answer is we're not alone. And
So, yeah, I mean, if you want to see that, I highly suggest, if you're interested in this topic, to go watch that Joe Rogan episode. It was fucking interesting. Like,
Yeah.
what he, some of the stuff that he talked about was insane. And the fact that, this is a 100%
I'm back.
dox. Cool. We thought the government or the aliens took you out because you
They
were about
did,
to
man.
drop an alpha.
I got probed in the ass. It
You
was
were
great.
about to drop. You were about to drop the fucking atom bomb of information, and they took you out.
Dude, they probed me. They dropped me back off. They gave me some Cheetos, and now I'm back.
At least they gave you a snack after you got probed.
They did, man. I was like, you know what? If you're gonna probe me, at least feed me. What the fuck?
Yeah. Give me some burritos. Come on, man. Hook a brother up.
Right? Yep, I'm back.
All right. So what were you saying, Dave?
So Project Blue Light, right? If anybody is into Illuminati or any of that government conspiracy stuff, it was part of Agenda 21. So Agenda 21, they, back in the 70s, they wrote this thing, Agenda 21, talking, I might be wrong, maybe the early 80s, talking about 9/11. COVID is in Agenda 21, but so is Project Blue Light. Project Blue Light is where...
Blue Beam?
What's that? Blue Beam, right?
Blue Beam.
Is where they're going to put holographic satellites in space, have Christ come back to life. Christ is going to come down to the earth, and he's going to convince people that it's the end of the world, and through that, control people. And there's a lot more deepness to it, but it's basically using holographics from space to project whatever they want. And that also has a lot to do with HARP. HARP is the weather control, where they're going to control the weather and use religion to control people through through showing that it's end of times when it's not. Just scare tactics. Same thing what COVID was. COVID was complete bullshit just to see.
I think it was a test run. Personally, I think COVID was a test run to see if the government could basically force everybody inside and see if people would comply.
I agree. So my probe had to do with drinking too much of this Stoli. I needed to get something to eat, so forgive me. But now I'm back. I'm okay.
Actually, Kid Jam, it could be the Starlink satellites. Anybody that's watched me on any times that I've either done a show here or been on other people's shows. I always cut out. So yeah, it could have been Starlink as well.
But Michael, we need to focus here.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Let us focus. Focus. We must focus.
Who cares what happened in the past?
All right.
Does this guy
present in the future? What's up?
Exactly. Does this guy actually know what's going to happen?
Speak to us, Nostradamus.
I know. Gosh dang it! The guy posts way too much, and now I can't find his damn post that he made. I'm gonna have to go off of memory. Okay, if you want to go to his Twitter handle, it's this guy right here.
The guy getting bashed in the head with a microphone.
Can't see it.
Over there. Can you see that Cliff is
anti-Semite? There we go.
That's his Twitter handle. He is an anti-Semite, just so you know. But that being said, Okay.
So why is he touch on that? Like, because it's important to frame, who this guy is and what he's about. So why is he an anti-Semite?
Well, he believes that that the people who live underground, the reptilians, the large grays, I don't know which group, but basically they use the Jewish community to control the world. That's his theory. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just throwing it out there as something that he's saying. And apparently, in his prediction, the world's going to know this by June. All right. So, but for our crypto world,
okay, yeah, I was just going to say
this is the prophecy that you want to hear.
Yes. All right. How is all of this? Let me preface this. How is, aliens, interdimensional beings, angels, whatever this is, things in the sky, lights flickering, messing with, they're over military bases, they're messing with the power grid. How, Taylor, how could this affect macroeconomics, the stock market, crypto, the dollar, just, all of that, how could it affect that?
Well, according to Cliff Hyde, this is it. And he says, it's December 15th, which is today. This is what he wrote. The Trump administration is today beginning to discover that the debt instrument dollar cannot be saved, and that the DS has planted time bombs in the derivative structure that underpins supposedly the global retirement investment industry. They are today figuring out that the dying dollar is the only fuel for the woeful, inadequate, funded, and structured global retirement planning structure. That is, the Trump administration are learning that the math for the global retirement structure requires a deflating dollar to keep the illusion going. The math does not lie, unlike the system administrators and designers, and the numbers are pointing to a collision with financial reality as early as mid-February. Okay. Hard lesson to be learned. They're going to be smacked. Trump's rhetoric about 100% tariffs are meaningless theater by April.
I don't know if I want to be in the Dominican Republic when if the shit hits the fan, Dave. I want to be at the cabin where all my food and guns are.
Well, let me tell you something.
He's not saying the shit's going to hit the fan. He's going to say the shit's going to hit the fan with the retirement structure by mid-February, which is basically.
I'm retired, man.
Well, he's talking about
savings,
money.
You have really the only thing that's out there that's safe. I mean, you could go gold. Gold might be where people flee to. So it's either going to be gold or crypto. So gold, silver, and crypto seem to be a very good investment. If this guy's right, once again, if this guy actually has the ability to predict the future, I'm not saying he does. I'm saying he just pulled off the greatest prediction ever in history to the T. So you might want to, maybe make a little gamble with some of your money on investing something in some crypto or maybe gold or silver, and see how the prediction
I have zero fiat currency in the bank. It's like all of my money is in lead, gold, silver, and crypto, and real estate. I have no money. It's like if you look at my bank account, you would think that I'm broke.
Yeah, and then he had prediction number 2. I think I sent it to you, Michael. I'm going to go pull that one up.
Nah.
No. Are you kidding me? I didn't send it to you. I can't find that other one. Okay, the next one is about this UFO thing. He said between now and January 15th, this is going to escalate in an attempt to maybe undermine Trump's inauguration, but it will fail. And then it will become, that's his prediction for between now and January 15th, is it will gradually become the, and then between January 15th to February 18th, it will increase in where 1/3 of the media will claim that there's an invasion happening, 1/3 will deny it, and the other third will remain neutral. That will dissipate after around February, but between February and June, massive disclosures about what part of our government have been working with these non-human intelligence will be disclosed, and by June there will be significant repercussions for religious organizations
Wow.
and political organizations.
What does that mean exactly, Taylor, as far as significant repercussions for religious?
According to him, once again, I have no idea if this guy has any ability, but he says that the Jewish community's alliance has been made with non-human intelligence to maintain power and control will be revealed, and that our United States government has been heavily involved with non-human intelligence in controlling aspects of the world and misinforming people. Not saying, once again, not saying any of this is my opinion. This is all this Cliff High guy. You know, he gets at least a pass for me.
You don't share anti-Semitic feeling.
Yeah, it's like I have a two-way feeling about this. Is my feelings about the Jewish community. They have done the greatest good for our society. On the one hand, like our Nobel Prize winners, there's so much good that comes out of the Jewish community that has done so much wonderful things. But there's also the negative aspect of a lot of things in the Jewish community, which is things like control and power. But I know
on World War Z, they knew when the zombies were coming and they built the wall.
Yeah. Well, all I want people to know is you cannot lump all people into one community, just because someone is, or you end up like Hitler, where you take a whole community and you kill off good people just because they're part of the community. So it's wrong to say that. However, there needs to be
Taylor,
there is a group.
If the Jewish people are working with the reptilians, maybe Hitler was working for the Greys.
Yeah, that could be. That could be exactly what's going on. And who knows? But you cannot get into the mindset of lumping all people into the group and saying, hey, everybody in this group does this thing. It's like, no, there might be elements of people in a group that do something. But just because in the past some white people had slaves doesn't mean all white people had slaves.
Exactly.
Yeah. I never had any slaves.
Yeah.
Did you have cotton fields, Dave?
I never had no slaves, man.
Yeah. So it's like doing that kind of logic is so I don't like some of the. I mean, Cliff High. When you read what he actually says, he's not trying to throw the whole Jewish community. He's saying leadership people in these communities are doing these things. So don't throw everybody in a community. Once again, he could be full of shit for all I know.
Well, I mean, you got to keep in mind, it's like somebody can be, correct on, one thing or multiple things and be a fucking nut bar.
Yeah. On other things.
I mean, you look at science, it's Einstein was nutty, but he made some of the largest breakthroughs of the time in physics. Nikola Tesla, he believed that he heard voices that is what told him how to do the things that he did, and the inventions that he did.
I believe him.
Well, and yeah, I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying it's like, from the majority of people, the majority of people would see that as being crazy. There's you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because there's one thing that you don't agree with that somebody says or believes doesn't mean everything that they say or invented or whatever is wrong.
We would never throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've never heard that terminology before, man. Where did
you never have?
You never have?
Dude, that's like a super common term. It basically means that, like, an extreme case is because we were talking about the Jewish
baby.
Well, no, but like the Nazis, very extreme, case. But look at all the scientific breakthroughs that they made in rocket technology. That's how NASA got started. Was Project Paperclip. It was all ex-Nazi scientists that had developed, like V2 rockets and all that for the Nazis. And, they developed, they made medical breakthroughs because they were like doing human testing. I mean, terrible things. But, it's still, advances. It's, you can't say that, okay, let's throw all that, that they did out, with rockets and things like that because the Nazis were bad. You can't, toss out that, technology because, you know what I mean? I mean, that's
they created something.
kind of what it means.
Regardless of who they are, what they did, they created something, and you can't throw away the science that they and the research that they did. I get it.
I mean, it can mean different things, but basically what it means is you can't throw out the entirety of something because a portion of it is wrong.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, got on a little bit of a rabbit trail. Taylor, go ahead. I'm getting a little buzzed.
At the end of the day, but it isn't just Cliff High that's saying these things. There's Ross Colhart. He's a news reporter with Newsmax, but he's done a lot of the UFO reporting. He says the next 30 days, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It's good to be prepared for the fact that there's going to be a lot of things coming out. There's going to be a lot of propaganda to mislead you into what's really going on. I wish I could tell you what actually is the truth. I don't know. Like I'm kind of indifferent where it's like, I don't care if there's aliens. I don't care who's in charge, who runs this world. All that matters is myself. I'm just gonna, focus on me, try to be the best person I can. If the whole world falls apart, Walking Dead world will be pretty fun. I'll curb stomp a few people maybe.
Actually, I got something for you. I knew this was going to come up, and I got this for you.
See, you are a Notre Damus too, Notre Michaelis.
I am.
Yeah.
McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
Freaking flight school for, and it's for the Cirrus, jet, 4 to 6 person, little mini jet.
Okay.
That I keep saying I want to get.
Yeah.
It's you need to go start taking your flight training, man.
How much do these things cost? I don't have that much money, right? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I could just get it.
Well, if you find that
where's
thumb
the
drive,
Bitcoin?
if you get off your ass and go
Bitcoin,
find that thumb drive with $15 million on it, you got plenty of money.
$18.4 million. I remember.
That's right.
18.4. That was the last.
So those of you that weren't watching
maybe this is it, Michael.
Completely.
Maybe this is the one.
That might be the one.
No, let me see.
So last episode, anyone who wasn't watching, me and Dave were talking about Bitcoin and stuff like that, and Taylor totally checked out, and for like 15 minutes was on his, because like a light bulb went on, and he remembered back in 2011 that he had bought like $2,000 worth of Bitcoin or something like that, and he was trying to figure out where he put it or what he did with it.
Yeah, and then Michael said something to me earlier this week. He was like, "Well, people used to put them on thumb drives," and it was like an aha moment went into my head. Like,
all right,
there's something about a thumb drive that I remember, and so. But they're all sitting here. I just need to go through them. These are like all the thumb drives.
Well, listen, I figure consulting like that's worth at least 10% to Michael.
Yeah, I'll fly down there and go through thumb drives for
$18.4 million. And we did the math. It was $18.4 million, and it was $2,400 that you spent on Bitcoin. And in 2011, we did the math. It was $18.4 million. So I'd be checked out too.
I know, dude. I would like be neglecting everything in my life. And I would be like ripping things apart looking for that thumb drive.
Well, that's a problem. That's the problem with my life, though. It's like I don't have any time to focus on this shit.
Right.
Okay.
No,
I'm gonna go through these thumb drives.
You have a lot going on. I mean, you got an escrow company or a title company. You have the law firm. You got jujitsu and kids, and you're traveling all the time. You got way too much going on.
And it distracts me from the things that actually, like, I might have a thumb drive somewhere here that might have Bitcoin on it.
Yeah. So basically, this is like a lot of people talk about if their crypto takes off, they're gonna get like a Lambo and stuff like that. Fuck a Lambo. This is what I want.
Nice.
I mean, imagine having a little 6-seater private jet that you could just take anywhere in the world. I mean, this thing is sick.
What is it, like $3 or $4 million for this thing?
So the new ones are, but you can pick them up for around $1 million.
All righty.
So to coincide this with the Day of the Dead or Walking Dead, you're saying Taylor should buy one so he can fly his ass to the cabin.
Well, he needs to get his pilot's license, because if everything's going to shit, just go fucking steal one.
You gotta wanna fly.
I mean, if it's an apocalypse and it's the end of the world, what are they going to do? You know what I mean?
That's true. It's true, man.
I'll cap their ass.
And here's the disclaimer: this is all hypothetical. I do not condone theft in any way, shape, or form.
So to touch on what Taylor talked about, right? Like, look, if they're aliens, if there's grays and reptilians and orbs in space and interdimensional beings, it really doesn't matter, right? There's no fear mongering, because our biggest fear is our own government. It really is. I mean, if these aliens wanted to take over the world and they've been here forever, they would have, or maybe they are. So I don't think it really matters what's going on with aliens. Don't scare me. What scares me is our government trying to start World War III and nuclear bombs. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, because if aliens had been around forever, right, they would already enslave us. I mean, what are we worried about?
Yeah, K-Jam.
Maybe they already have. I mean, if you really look at it, freaking everybody pretty much with a debt-based economy, everyone's pretty much a slave. I mean, I own my property outright, and I still don't fucking own it.
Michael, you got to read about Robert Monroe's Loosh Farm. We might already be slaves. We just don't realize it.
Dude, honestly,
I live a pretty beautiful slave life.
If you look at the way our government and taxes is set up, you at any given moment can have everything stripped from you and be thrown in prison.
Let me explain what Loosh Farms are. So, Robert Monroe, he was the guy that started the Gateway Projects. He was the guy that could come out of his body and travel around. And what a Loosh Farm is he, in his travels out of his body, he ran across beings, and he realized that the Earth was a Loosh Farm, which was, we create what he termed as Loosh, which is when we become emotionally either negative or positive, we create an energy that can be created by other beings. So what interdimensional beings do is they rile up human beings in order, through war or through even positive things, whatever it may be, to create energy in order so they can use that energy. And so we're like a Loosh Farm. And Robert Monroe saw that basically we're being milked like cattle for our energy that we have. And whether we're being tortured or whether we are experiencing positive things, they don't care. They just want our loosh. And this made Robert Monroe very upset. But the being was like, well, you do it to cattle. And is it okay for you to milk cattle? And Robert Monroe goes, yeah, well, we're more intelligent beings. And they're like, well, we're more intelligent than you. And we're going to use you for what we're going to do. So we're going to manipulate your governments to cause wars and violence. And we're going to do whatever's necessary to rile you up in order to get what we need from you. And so, but K-Jam asked here, Taylor, do you know Dr. Stephen Greer? Yes, I've gone through all this stuff. I find a lot of his stuff interesting in the sense of like he's arguing that the aliens are good, that they're out there for our good, and that it's our government that we need to be scared about and worried about, which I would agree. Humans are far more dangerous, I think, than to us. Our fellow human is far more dangerous.
Dude, by far. I mean, we're our own worst enemy.
Yeah. And he just talks about the alien component Whereas I think that you have the alien component. I know that there's interdimensional beings because I've experienced them in my own personal things. I have never had an alien experience, so I can't say that I know that there's alien.
Sorry, Dave's in the bathroom back there. I'm hoping that he's not about to take a piss.
And leave the door open.
With the door open.
Yeah, he takes off his clothes, starts walking around.
Yeah,
Dave,
Dave, we were hoping that you weren't about to get naked and take a piss because we could totally see back into the bathroom.
Oh, really? Nice. Well, I had to clean myself off after the probing. You know how it is after you get probed, you got to pee bad.
Yeah,
yeah. Who hasn't been there? Who hasn't been there?
They pump so many fluids into you.
That's right.
So on the one side of like Greer, I think he's trying to warn people that our government's really the threat. That's who you should be. You should be more skeptical about what you hear on mainstream media and the government. But at the end of the day,
dude, our government, I'm far more concerned about our government than aliens. If aliens had any ill intent,
we'd be gone.
Or they were gonna, destroy the world or whatever, they can do it no matter what we did, and they would have probably done it already. Like you were saying, other humans are our biggest threat, and governments have the money and the resource.
Oh, we lost Michael. He is his
Michael went threats.
Yeah.
What's that?
We're losing you right now. You're in a dark spot.
Like your Starlink was.
See, because I was dropping the alpha. I was basically talking about how the government. I mean, we all know governments have the desire for power and money, and they're a much bigger threat than aliens. I mean, aliens, if they wanted to do something, they could do it, and there's nothing we could do to stop them.
Listen, the only thing you have to worry about aliens is if you don't have a fetish. As long as you don't have a fetish, then you're worried about aliens. But if you got,
as long as you're into butt play, aliens are your best friend.
Yeah.
Just be nice. Let them do what they got to do, and
it's like everybody in San Francisco is like celebrating that the aliens are coming.
So, I guess the biggest thing to get out of anything is like there really isn't. Things are probably going to get really weird over the next 6 months, but I don't think.
Hey Taylor, real quick, let's circle back because I don't think that we fully talked about and dissected the effect of all of this potentially on the markets and the flight to safety, and how this potentially could pump like things like Bitcoin and risk on assets. If you could, because you're a lot more like I'm very tuned into crypto, but you're very knowledgeable about crypto, traditional markets. You've been investing a very long time, and being a lawyer, you understand from many facets, how this potentially could affect. What are your thoughts on, how honestly, how we could profit from this?
Yeah. So the reality is going to be that the dollar to service the debt, they cannot have a major down towards event right now because it would cause so many problems. So they're going to have to print. They're going to have to keep printing significantly to keep everything going. So you need to own assets, not dollars. So that's going to be the key thing. If you have a bunch of cash just sitting around somewhere, you need to go buy assets somewhere. You got to get it out. And so crypto, of course, is a great, especially Bitcoin. It's going to be, because it's finite. The governments themselves are going to have to realize we got to hedge and we got to have safety. Like the state of Texas right now is trying to buy some,
Trump is talking about having a Bitcoin, federal, or not Federal Reserve, but a Bitcoin reserve. just basically to try to stabilize the mess that we're in, as far as the national debt. And I mean, I forget exactly what it is, but there's actually a date or a threshold where the amount of taxes and the income that the government takes in will be outpaced by the interest owed on the debt that we've accrued. And if that was to happen, I mean, I'm not an economist or anything like that, but I mean, just basic maths would suggest that that is going to have a very negative impact on the dollar, because the dollar is propped up by debt. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by anything. It's backed by bonds, and basically people buying our debt, Japan and China being two of the largest. And if for whatever reason, that's compromised, then we have to have something to prop up the dollar. And honestly, Bitcoin is the only thing that I see, because potentially even gold with the
problem with Bitcoin, Mike, let me interject. The problem with
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin, tell me if I'm wrong, it's only a $3 trillion high, though. Like if you take
no. Okay, so check this out. Let me break this down for you real quick. So right now, I'll actually give you the current on everything, and we'll share it on the screen.
2.4 trillion at 100,000.
Well, that's the market cap.
That's the market cap.
So right now, the market cap is 2 trillion. However, the way that market cap is calculated is the circulating supply, so 19,796,000, and the price. So as it becomes, I mean, there's only a finite number of Bitcoin that can be minted. And you have people like BlackRock, you have people, I mean, like El Salvador, now the US government, you have governments and large institutions flooding the market, buying this up, taking it out of centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, places like that, moving it to cold storage, which causes a scarcity issue. And so that's going to pump the price up. So the fact that there could only ever be 21 million Bitcoin ever, and the fact that more and more people are leaning on it as a flight to safety could, for all intents and purposes, and I don't know if this is the right.
It went to 106,000 today.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, they projected that it would go to 160, I believe.
Well, they're saying that it potentially could go as high as 200,000 or 250,000, but you have to take into account we're in uncharted waters. There's the past 3 cycles, there's been no regulation. Governments and large institutions, because of regulations, haven't been able to dump liquidity into it. Now that the U.S., Europe, the UK, El Salvador, has made it legal tender. All of these countries are starting to dump liquidity, and as they dump liquidity, that is going to pump the price. So potentially, we could see a super cycle on either all of crypto or just Bitcoin. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes more sense, I guess, because as the price goes up, I mean, it's worth more.
No, they're saying, by this cycle, it could go up from anywhere from where it's at currently to, I think the highest projection is $400,000 a coin,
which would make the market cap what? It would bring that up to 6 trillion, 7 trillion.
Yeah, and so if it gets at that, I think it would be around which is half of what gold is.
Mm-hmm.
So if Bitcoin just went to where gold was, but you got to think like people, when the realization hits, if this cliff high guy's correct and it becomes clear to the markets that the dollar's dead, the dollar's doomed.
It is doomed. It is doomed.
Well,
there's no recovery.
That depends. That depends.
So you have something pulled up on where the U.S. debt is right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can pull up the debt clock. The thing is
right now.
is
understand how fucked we are in America, and that's why.
Here, hold on one sec. I'll pull up the U.S. debt clock. Go ahead and keep on talking. I'll just pull this
But
up in
I
the
mean,
background.
so going back to aliens and invasions
Yeah,
and on, right? Don't you think that this is just another false flag mission from the people that run the government to scare people into doing whatever they want to do? I mean, that's probably what it is. You know, I mean, beyond aliens, again, going back to if they wanted to take over the world, they would already own it. If they wanted it to enslave us, we'd already be enslaved, or we are slaves, giving off energy, as Taylor said, right? So what's really going on, right? I think it's just another false flag to scare people into submission, into whatever their next plan is, their next thing. You know, I mean, you know, one thing that cracks me up is Fox News. They don't talk about the war. All they talk about is Trump, 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 Trump,
dude.
Trump politics,
Fox
right? You go
News
to
is just as
CNN.
bad as
Hold
MSNBC
on.
and CNN.
You go to CNN, all the other channels, right? CBS, everything else. They talk about war and destruction and fear mongering, right? So it's all propaganda from both sides. What does the right need to talk about to get their mind not thinking about what's really going on? What does the left need to talk about or hear about so they don't think, they don't understand? It's all covering up what's really going on. So what's really going on? What's happening right now with these drones that they're making our attention go to the drones so we don't look at what's really happening. What's really happening?
Dude, that's honestly like the past 5 to 10 years. You could actually take it back. I mean, a lot further, but it's been rapid fire lately. But ever since
Hold my
COVID,
glasses so I can see this on the screen.
well,
Where's our,
ever since COVID, it has been rapid fire distractions. I mean, you
yep.
have BLM, you have COVID, you have the war in Ukraine, you have the war in the Middle East, you have the petrodollar, you have, I mean, just one thing. Now aliens, it's just one thing after another of look over here so you don't see what's going on over here.
So question for you guys. Now that I'm reading the U.S. debt, right? Let's talk about pathways to redemption. So we're at
All right, let me go get my
trillion,
glasses.
we're at $36 trillion in debt for the United States. Correct, Taylor? If you're looking at this with me.
Yep.
Okay. So how much will we have to pay back yearly, and how many years would it take? So how much out of the U.S. government? Because you have Elon Musk and Vivek that are going to take over the budget, cut government spending, cut this, cut that, to pay off the U.S. debt. Is it even possible in the next decade even? And let's talk about it. Presidential runs are 4 years. They're 4 years, right?
Well,
So
it's
in
far,
4 years, what can they actually do?
well, it's far more complicated than that because
Yes.
the thing that props up the whole U.S. economy is government spending.
Right.
And the reality is no, the problem that people don't understand is when you allow a government to print money, they can print money and give money to their friends, which is what basically the United States government has been doing for the last 50 years.
Well, that's what war is about.
Yeah. And if you have a society that couldn't do that money had to go to the actual people who produce, then you would end up with a society that the producers, the actual people who actually put things together, would have the assets, which is beneficial to all when that happens. So, like right now, where you see that happening is in the tech industry, because the tech industry is new technology. And so the people with the assets in the tech industry are the people who actually create things, like Elon Musk, who actually builds companies and do things. But you look at the old companies that exist, they're controlled by the government, airlines, a lot of other than Tesla, you have all the old gas cars. The government keeps them propped up and they're given free money, and you can't compete with them. And so there is no competition that happens. So the problem is that we have in our society now is America doesn't really produce anything other than fake money.
Right.
That's why almost all
Well,
jobs.
we're consumers. We consume and we feed the rest of the global economy. You know,
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
America is the
well,
biggest consumer
the
of
thing is,
all
oh, go
goods.
ahead. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, I'm just saying that we don't produce shit. We produce very little compared to what we have. That's why they try to get rid of farming. They try to get rid of industry, you know, but my
Well,
question
our government literally paid farmers to not grow food. I mean, how fucking insane is that?
so because they're paid off by lobbyists for other
Oh
countries.
no. I mean, I get a lot of the why, but
The question that I have is there a pathway to redemption? We have $36 trillion in debt. If somehow we could stop spending, which isn't going to happen, and we could pay back $3.6 trillion a year for 10 years, we'd be out of debt, right? But that's not going to happen. So let's say that we stop. Do you know what our government spending is annually right now, Michael? Do you have that information?
Yeah, it's right here. It's 1 trillion.
well, here, Taylor,
Okay.
go ahead and
So
Interest on the
share
debt
your
is 1 trillion a year.
1 trillion a year, right? We'd have to keep
go ahead
our
and share your
spending
screen, Taylor.
So we'd have to keep our spending at 1 trillion per year and pay back $3.6 trillion a year. So we'd have to produce $3.6 trillion a year in income for the government to be debt free in 10 years. Correct? Is my math right? If we're $1 trillion a year in spending,
No, we that's just to pay just to service the debt.
gotcha. That's just a so what is our spending?
So we would, I mean, to pay down on the debt, like, I mean, you have to, it could have a considerably amount more if you in a decade, if you want to pay it off, you got to come up almost our whole budget, all of our tax revenues would have to go to debt to pay it off in a decade.
Right. So is there a pathway to redemption, or is the dollar doomed?
Well, it depends. So the real question is know if we can create enough innovation.
Right.
If all of a sudden like you create robots that go out and they can produce like crazy, then no. But at our current rate, yeah, it's really struggling really hard, guys. My kids just texted me and said that I have to get back to the house because there's some problem. So I got to bail on you guys. You guys,
All right.
you can solve this UFO problem.
Go put all the kids in an arm bar or whatever needs to be done and take care of business.
Yeah, there's some fight happening.
All right, Taylor.
Man.
Listen, just tell them simply, guys, stop fighting. Let's try these USB that I have. It's worth $18.4 million. There's nothing to fight about.
You guys will be very happy for the rest of
You'll
your
be very happy. A vacation in DR. You guys are coming to the DR. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, guys. I'll see you.
All right, man. Take care, Taylor. Love you, man. All right. So yeah, no, I'm kind of halfway checking out crypto right now because of the topic of conversation being that with uncertainty, a lot of times you can have people that look for a flight to safety when it comes to value.
Right.
So people that have cash on hand and things like that, historically, they'll put it into gold. They'll buy physical gold and silver. They preppers buy guns and ammo and food and things like that. When people feel that there's uncertainty, a lot of times that liquidity, fiat money, gets churned into things that people feel are more stable, as far as value.
Right.
And things like crypto that and I want to say this real quick, and I want to turn it over to you, Dave, is they are liquid, highly liquid. So meaning that if you have your seed phrase and you have all of your crypto on in a cold storage wallet, or you have access to Coinbase or wherever you keep your crypto, you can go anywhere in the world and you can off ramp it into any fiat currency that you want. And increasingly, a lot of places are taking crypto as payment. I know that for our charter business, me and Dave have been talking about it down in the Dominican Republic. We've been talking about starting to take crypto as payment.
Captain in Antigua, in my charter company in Antigua, there's on the Wave Charters Antigua. The captains that I work with that I don't own the yachts, they want payment in crypto because PayPal, bank wires, everything else is so many problems in the Caribbean that I'm starting to pay them out in crypto, so
No, it's
or
and the thing is like Dave has called me and been like, hey, can you send me some money? And I'm like, hey, what's your email? What's your phone number?
yep,
I mean, I know those, but you don't get what I'm getting at. And basically, I just go on my Coinbase account.
yeah,
I put his phone number or his email instantly, no matter
yeah,
where he's at in the world. I think what was it, Amsterdam you were in at the time?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Anytime I need money from my holdings, it's like
yeah.
that.
It's just fucking instant. He can off ramp it into whatever freaky deaky Dutch money is, and and,
Going to
and
parks.
off he goes.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. So I think that there's some weird shit going on in the world for sure. These drones that are in Europe and the U.S. East Coast, they've been spotted all over the East Coast and California. You know, um, Definitely raise an alarm to everybody what's going on, but I don't think that we should worry about aliens so much. I think that we should worry about our own government, like we talked about. And I think no matter what's happening, like Taylor said, all he's worried about is his family and kids. At the end of the day, all of us are worried about the same thing. How am I going to eat? How am I going to pay the mortgage or the rent?
I'm not worried. I'm set up.
Well, you're in the
I've
middle of
spent the last decade. I am like 100% self. Like I mean, I
but
got
out of,
water, I got food, I got
but out of
protection.
70 million people in the United States, right? There's maybe 2% or 1% that are
You know
very.
what? Piss poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
But what I'm saying is, those people,
I
right,
know, I know. I'm just
shouldn't
being funny.
worry so much about aliens, right? Because if aliens wanted to fuck us up, we'd be fucked up. We'd be done.
No, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
But I
Hey,
think
hey, Deadwood. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm actually pulling it up. I'm just going to show you.
pull the video.
No, he's asking. He's a buddy of mine. He's asking about the locks on Aerodrome. So
Mm.
this is my locks on Aerodrome. So I got 5,448 Aero. So I got a little over $11,000 there, and then another $5,600 there. And these are the rewards that I've been earning. And so again, like, and I mean, look back to your question. So how much arrow you got locked? So you can choose how long you want to lock it. Everything from a couple of days to up to 4 years. It really depends on how much VE arrow. So if you lock it for 4 years, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So I locked for 4 years. I got 5,448 VE arrow that I'm using to vote, and I delegated my votes to this node. And basically, I'm earning, like this epoch or this week, I'm going to earn 44.72% APR. So I've been running this one for about a month. So roughly 343 arrow is about 700-ish dollars. And I did the math earlier, and it's about $1,000 a month that I'm making 100% safe, other than, of course, if the platform goes down. But there isn't any like impermanent loss or anything weird like that. I got what 11, roughly 17K. I got 17K in there now, and I'm earning about 1,000 to 1,500 a month off of it. So it's not bad for a low risk play. Sorry, long explanation, but I want to make sure I gave you all the information so that you can make an informed decision. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I mean, to wrap it up, man, I think that the most important thing for all of us to do is just be prepared. No matter if it's aliens, if it's Putin sending a nuclear bomb at us, if it's our government doing another false flag COVID situation. I think that people just need to be prepared. You know, I mean, for myself, you know, I have multiple companies, multiple startup companies, and I have most of my money invested in those companies. So I don't have a lot of infrastructure myself in the US to where I felt safe. And that's why I left the country 4 years ago and I live abroad, because I personally feel safer in countries where we don't hold you know, nuclear bombs, and where someone's gonna fucking bomb me, you know. But you be prepared. I mean, for whatever happens, whatever's going on in the world, just protect your family, protect the people that you love, and make sure that you're ready. And crypto is a great way to protect your finances. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people who are naysayers who just see crypto as a gamble or something that
A scam or, you know, something. Yeah.
the reality is, if you don't understand it, it is. You know, I mean, it's very complex. You have to understand it, and I think that with whatever's going on with these drones, you know, Taylor, you know, talked about this guy that has predictions, and it's all going to be brought to the light. It doesn't matter. You know, what? Ask yourself, if tomorrow they came to you and they said, "All right, there's grays, there's reptilians, there's this, there's that, there's this," and they've been living among us, what is it going to change your day to day life? You
That's a
still have
great point. I mean, if you know,
still
don't,
got
yeah.
you got to live no matter what, no matter
No,
what.
and I'm going to add on to that. So basically, you know, back in the 50s, when, you know, War of the Worlds came across the radio, everybody freaked the fuck out. People were committing suicide all over the place. If you don't know, War of the Worlds was a radio
Well,
broadcast. It ended up being a movie.
mhm.
Um, but it was basically, you know, Orwell went on the airwaves and was
Well,
telling a story of aliens, you know, coming to Earth and, you know, attacking and stuff like that. And people freaked the fuck out. They thought it was a news, you know, like you know, they thought it was the news. And people were committing suicide, doing all kinds of crazy shit. And you have, like, things like this, like Dave just said. If aliens are here or not, they've been here the whole time. There is nothing you can do about it. You know, worrying and freaking out is wasted effort. What you need to do is an ounce of prevention. You need to diversify. So if all your money's in fiat, and this isn't financial advice, I would put a little bit in crypto. You know, if you have the money, buy a little bit of real estate, buy a gun, some ammo, some food, you know, have some water storage, you know, be prepared. And worst case scenario, you never need, you know, the food and the water and stuff like that. It's stuff that you can use and replace. You know, rice, beans, things like that. You know, water, you can drink it. You know, if you're in the city, you know, if you have a bunch of bottled water, you can drink it and replace it. But if something bad happens, you can only go so long. It's the rule of threes. You can only go like 3 hours in certain climates without shelter. You can only go 3 days without water, and you can only go 3 weeks without food. It's called the law of three or the rule of three.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
really.
basically, just put a little bit of thought into your life. Don't get distracted. You know, be driven by your emotions or manipulated by your emotions. Everything on social media, everything on the news, everything government does, everything that's done is done to manipulate. Think for yourself. It's not Republicans and Democrats. You know, don't get into that, you know, black and white thinking, whites against blacks and gays against straights and, you know, all that stuff that divides us. Think for yourself, protect you and your family, have some food on hand, have some water on hand, diversify the value that you've accumulated so that if the dollar goes to shit and you have a little bit of crypto and you have a little bit of real estate, whatever. If you don't want to be in, have a bunch of money in the bank and the dollar go to shit.
Listen,
You don't want to be all in
and
Bitcoin and have Bitcoin tank
yeah,
and yeah. Oh, go
and
ahead.
let me touch on some point that I want to touch on. So a lot of people don't have anything, dude. They don't have any money to, and that's the majority of
Oh,
people. They have no
dude,
money for real
that
estate.
debt clock that I brought up,
They have,
one of the things on
they
there was the
have,
average savings of people, and like people have no savings.
bro, the average person is living paycheck to paycheck. So for that person, right, the best thing for them to do, right, in my opinion, is have a, you know, when I lived in California,
Right. Hold
because
on,
I,
right here, real quick.
uh,
Savings per family right now on average is $10,142.
I don't even
With
believe us.
mortgages these days, that's like 2 months worth of mortgage, not including bills, car payment, insurance, groceries, all that shit.
Right.
So go ahead. Sorry.
So I think for the average person, right, you have bug out packs in your house. Everybody can take when you go grocery shopping and you buy your groceries and your budget, take even 10% of your budget and put it in cold storage, meaning like canned food, rice, bags of rice, beans that you don't eat, bottles of water, you know, gallons of water that you have in your house, just so you can write out whatever's happening. And this is good advice for any situation. You know, I mean, during the winter's coming on the East Coast, and we've had
Dude,
blackouts. We've
there,
had
there, there was hurricanes that hit down where, your brother's at, where,
South Carolina.
freaking down North South Carolina and stuff, natural disasters. It doesn't have to be aliens. It doesn't have to be the dollar collapsing. Shit happens.
All the time.
If you live anywhere where hurricanes or tornadoes or any of that stuff is, beans and rice are cheap as shit. It's not glamorous, but you can
Water,
live off
and more
of
importantly,
water, beans, and
water.
rice for a long time.
Right, water. So just prepare for the unexpected, you know, no matter what that is, and have bug out packs, right? Because if you live in any major city, any major city in the U.S., right, things get congested so fast. I mean, it takes less than 24 hours for you not to be able to exit that city, right? So if you have family in another
Well,
state, rural area, or somewhere where you can go to, have that set up where if something happens, you know, and we're in very unpredictable times. We've had the biggest nuclear threat since the Cuban, not the
missile
Cuban,
crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis, right? And the news plays it down. You know, I mean, even back then, we never had anybody say, "I'm going to use nuclear fucking warheads if I choose to." That didn't happen back then, right? All they did was move missiles to Cuba, and we all freaked out. Like now, literally, Putin is saying, "I will use nuclear bombs." You know, I will use this if I have to. I mean, so just be prepared for whatever's going to happen.
Honestly, I think we need to do an episode on emergency preparedness because years ago when I was in the military, like, I started that, Prep to Survive website and
Yep.
got really big into emergency preparedness about the time I was retiring from the military. And I've, since, obviously gone, maybe, some people might say a little off the deep end. I got a beautiful property with a beautiful cabin that I built myself. It's peaceful, it's quiet. If nothing happens, it's my dream. If something happens, honestly, without the internet, I wouldn't even know unless it was like a nuclear bomb. And then I would care for about a split second and I'd be dead.
Yeah.
So, what people need to do, is start putting some thought into, and I'll kind of end on this, and then Dave, I'll turn it over to you to do some closing thoughts before we end this episode. I know you got to go, but put some thought into your individual situation. And I'll summarize it like this: urban or rural. If you're urban, you need to come up with a very different plan than somebody that's rural. Urban, oftentimes, unless you're prepared and you act very, very quickly, you need to come up with what's called a survive in place plan, where you have the supplies that you need to survive for an extended period of time at wherever it is, your home, wherever it is that you're going to try to survive. If you're rural, it's a lot easier. You can start, a garden, you can have food storage, there's deer, there's, wild, there's game, there's rabbits, there's all kinds of things that you can do. But you need to start doing your research because this, no matter how much beans and rice you have, no matter how much guns and ammo you have, any of that, this is the only tool, no matter where you go, it's with you.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
you need to have the skills that are going to help you to survive. So start working on your knowledge. Don't freak out about aliens, and that's kind of what this, episode was about, is to hopefully calm people down, because people are getting weird about this, and it is what it is. If aliens are here, they've been here.
Well, dude,
Nothing.
like Taylor pointed on, you know what I mean? I mean, if all these things are going on and they're using us as an energy source or whatever is going on, it still doesn't affect your day-to-day life. You still have kids, you still have family.
Well, it does, but no more than it has
Has,
for
has.
thousands of years.
Yeah. So just protect yourself because we have one life to live in this earth, so make it the best that you can and protect your family. I mean, that's what it's about at the end of the day.
Is there anything I'm going to turn it over to you for closing thoughts? Anything that you got?
Yeah, man. I just think that, I mean, be very careful watching the news. It's all propaganda, 100%, not just in
Yeah.
this country, in every country, and it has been forever. And, luckily I spent a little bit of time in the military, in the Marines, and, family like Mike and other people have that knowledge of what it is. And I was never political until a little bit the last few years because I know that whoever's sitting president is in seat doesn't really control anything. They don't. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So the most important thing is that you protect yourself and your family and you have a plan. That's it. Prep to survive, like Mike's site back in the day, which it's true in life, I mean, with whatever you have going on, so that's all I have, man. I appreciate you inviting me on the show. Mike showing some pictures of our charter company in Dominican Republic. We have that charter company of one in Antigua, and we want.
I'll show the one in Antigua real quick.
So we'd like you to put some money aside for vacation too, because
You know what? If you pay with crypto, we'll probably give you a discount because we don't have to pay processing fees and
That's
whatnot.
true, man. But we
So
do
this is the Antigua site, and this picture here is actually the sailing yacht that's down there called the Bailey Grace. It's named after David's son, my niece,
my daughter.
daughter. Sorry, I'm a little buzzed. But yeah, no, it's if you're ever thinking about taking a trip and you go down to the Caribbean and you want to go to Antigua or the Dominican Republic, by all means, hit me, hit Dave up, and we'll work something out for you. Maybe even we'll come hang with you.
Well, and it's funny because even that yacht, the first yacht that I bought, which was Bailey Grace in Antigua, I set it up as an escape mechanism. It's got solar power, wind generators, water maker. It makes its own water. And it's for me, it's all part of that prep to survive mentality. Is where can I take my kids and my family where I know that we'll be okay? So you know, the news is bullshit, complete bullshit. I try and read between the lines. I definitely am way more right than left because I believe in law and order. I believe in the family home. But there's a lot of things on the left that I believe in too. I mean, I think that gay people should have gay rights. I think that
Well,
the
dude, you're like I am, and like probably like 70 or 80% of people are.
yeah.
Is
I mean,
we
I
just
think a
want
lot of the
to be
things I
left
think that
alone
should have
and
pro-choice.
live free.
Choice. It's your decision, but regardless of whatever political side I lean to, right? I make my own decision on what I do with my own life, and I don't let it influence me. And I think that's a really sad part of society today, is that the media feeds things into people's brains and makes them hate people. They on Fox, they make you hate Biden. On CNN and these other channels, they make you hate Trump. Forget the hate. It doesn't matter. Listen, listen. I believe in in voting. Of course, it's important.
Dude,
Really and truly,
like I
really and
said, you,
is that
me, and
important?
like 70-80% of people out there, we just want freedom. We want liberty. We just want to be left the fuck alone. The government out of our pocket. Stop taking our money. Stop taking our property. And we just want to. I don't care if a gay couple wants to get married. It's none of my business. I mean, I have my personal views. It's none of my business if somebody wants to get an abortion. I have my personal views on it, where I'm against it personally. If I was with somebody and they got pregnant, I would hope that either they would sign the rights over to me and I would take care of it, but that's me. I don't want to impose my beliefs on anybody else. I should be able to own a gun. If you don't want to own one, fine. Don't. It's just that is my very libertarian or constitutionalist view on everything. Is just everyone should be able to, as long as it doesn't like impede on somebody else's liberties or freedoms, you should be able to do whatever you want.
I agree, man. So we'll see what happens. It's interesting the stuff that Taylor talked about. You know, we'll see what happens, man. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters, and I'm going to end with this, man, is that your family and the people that you love. That's it. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter. Aliens, no aliens. Nuclear war, no nuclear war. Whatever's happening in the world, just protect your family, protect yourself, and make sure you're okay.
Yep. So learn from fucking COVID when people were fist fighting over toilet paper, and go to the store and at a minimum buy 30 days worth of beans and rice, because you can add to it. If you find some chicken or some beef or whatever else, you can add that to rice and beans. You have carbs, you have protein, get some water, a way to protect yourself. Come up with a plan. If something kicks off and you and your wife or husband or whatever is at work and your kids are at school, and come up with different scenarios and let everyone know. If cell phone towers go down, if there's a natural disaster, if there's a hurricane, and like it, down in the southeast, if all the cell phone towers go down and you can't communicate, if comms are down, does everyone know where to go and where to link up?
Right.
And if not there, where is the backup? Where's the secondary? Where's the tertiary? The third place. You need to come up with this plan now so everyone knows, because like I said, this is the only thing that goes with you no matter what. No smart device, no backpack, no go bag, that can be stolen from you. You can lose it, whatever. This is the only thing that matters. Get your plan in place.
All right, brother. I'm gonna check
I'll
out.
end with that.
Love you, brother.
Love
Thanks
you.
for watching. I appreciate you letting me on the show, and I look forward to your next episode, Michael.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Peace.